A typical working environment. Nothing unusual seems to be happening. People are just getting on with their jobs. But actually, everyone here at Barder Books is working under pressure. Frankfurt Book Fair, the big selling event of the year, is just a short time away. And, as in most jobs, pressure, plus a tight deadline, usually means one thing: stress.
Sorry, Lola, there's a man banging. Right. So, when do you think we will be able to see something? Well, it's cutting it fine, but if that's when it's going to be ready, we look forward to it. Yes. Bye. I could strangle that woman.
Lola Michaels.
Who else? She can't deliver till Thursday now.
4 days late, that's really pushing it.
3 months and 4 days. You know what she's like, though? Sarah Gosling. Oh, hello. Hang on a sec.
We need a bike for these. Thanks.
Okay. Hi. What dry cleaning? What about it? Why can't you pick it up? It is yours, darling. At lunchtime, or on the way home. Why do I always have to sort everything out? Yes, all right.
Sarah. Lola Michaels. Well, it's just that we've got to get the promotional stuff together, and we don't even have a title yet, let alone a manuscript.
All right then, Paul. You call her. You explain why she should have delivered 3 months ago, why it's such a pain for everyone else she hasn't, and why I'll probably have to work till midnight all next week again correcting her terrible grammar. Go on, there's the number. No, because you people in marketing don't have to deal with authors, do you? You don't have to stroke their egos and tell them how wonderful they are, when all the time you're ordering bikes and writing letters and arranging meetings and chasing deadlines and trying to turn this rubbish into something readable. Because if you don't know whether you're going to have a job at the end of the month thanks to this takeover. I mean, you don't have to wade through this stuff, do you, Paul? Especially while some Burke's hammering away at the walls all day. Oh.
What was that all about?
Dry cleaning?
Well, not quite. But in a way, that doesn't really matter. The point is that when the pressure's on, more often than not, it's the little things, you know, those small, annoying incidents at work, at home, socially, wherever, that can finally make you snap.
Stress at work, I think, is caused by many, many different sources. It can be caused by work overload. It can be caused by a bad boss, a bullying, abusive boss. It can be caused by change itself, by the lack of control. It can be caused by the problems individuals face on the interface between their work and their home life. So there's a whole range of causes. For a particular individual, could be any one or any combination of those.
All right.
No,
What are you doing?
I'm going home.
Well, you can't. What about that lot?
What about it?
Well, it's got to be finished today. Sarah, you can't go just like that.
I don't feel very well.
Really?
I've got a splitting headache.
Nothing a couple of aspirins wouldn't cure, I suppose.
And faint, you know, sick, dizzy, that sort of thing. Sorry.
Well, when will you be back?
I don't know.
Sarah, you're not serious. But you can't just leave everything. Who's going to do it? Sarah!
People react differently to the pressure they're under. They have different coping strategies. It has been described by some as a kind of flight-fight reaction. Some people react to stress by fighting, by being angry, by externalizing it. And other people can react either by internalizing it or running away from it, i.e. flight.
The fight or flight response is a physical response, and it's designed to help us deal with a physical threat. What happens is that when we're exposed to a threat, our body changes, and we notice it in many different ways. We might notice the sweatiness in our palms. Perhaps we might notice the tensing in our muscles, the way our breathing changes, the way our heart rate changes. And all of these things are actually part of our body gearing itself up for short-term survival.
Maggie Johns. Oh, hello, Richard. Uh-huh.
So, we all have an instinctive physical reaction to stress. But it isn't just an individual thing. Stress is catching, too. And it can be passed around an organisation quicker than the common cold.
No, we haven't. Okay, as soon as possible after lunch. Right, bye. Oh! That was Richard on the phone. He's going to New York 3 days before the book fair, and he wants to see everything before he leaves. So drop what you're doing and bring everything forward. Posters, press releases, the lot.
What happens when you get stress in an organisation is that it spreads. It might start with one incident or one person, but it starts affecting other people as well. And it might start with a slow burn. It's a small thing that gradually filters its way through other people. At other times it's more noticeable. It's like an explosion. Something's gone wrong, there's been a trauma, and everybody knows about it.
Pradeep, bad news. Our managing director has decided he's got to go to New York, something to do with the Halston takeover. And he's going to go on to the book fair from there, which means I'm going to need all your material by the end of the week. And a title at least for the new Lola Michaels, today. We can't wait any longer.
Well, I did try to get a title out of her, but she's, you know.
No, I don't know, Pradeep. All I do know is I need a decision from you today. But what about the working title, Star Cruiser?
Yes, whatever you like. You go with that.
I don't know why you bother to come in, Pradeep. I really don't.
When people are feeling stressed, they don't function well. This has an effect on other people who are trying to interact with them. In organizational terms, stress will cause a loss of performance over time. It might also cause people to stay away from work. They will avoid the situation that's causing them stress. Obviously, if that happens, that will put additional pressure on their colleagues who will still have to do the workload in their absence. Also, there's a condition called presenteeism, which is where people are under stress and rather than stay away from work, which might negatively impact their career, they will come to work to be seen to be there, but in fact they're not capable of producing good work. So that is presenteeism, and it is estimated that that is a very common effect of stress within organizations.
Yes, it's just arrived, Lola, thank you. No, Sarah's left. Yes, it was a bit of a surprise. Anyway, I'm sending the courier back with the cover artwork for you to see. Yes, do. Okay, bye then. Back to the same address, please.
We've seen that stress gets passed around, increasing the pressure on everyone. This happens to all of us at some time or other. And for a while, we can cope. But sooner or later, the cracks begin to show.
Has the disc arrived from Lola yet?
Yes.
Good.
But she doesn't want it going out until it's been edited.
She'll be lucky. Print it up. Get copies for all concerned. Then we'll decide what we're going to do. Oh, and don't forget, the marketing team from Halston's are coming this afternoon.
I won't.
Well, hang on. Shouldn't there be 4 pages here?
Paul, can you help? I can't get into Lola's disc and Maggie is screaming for the manuscript.
I'll try.
Usually, increased pressure means it's only little things that are missed. But as we all know, even little mistakes can have very big consequences.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks. Well, just give me a call when it's finished, would you?
It's okay. I'll get Sue to take it round to the printers. How many copies do you want?
Oh, thanks. 10.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't tell me. It's a rush job.
Well, it is from Barder.
And it is lunchtime.
10 copies ASAP.
What is it with that lot? It's always nothing, then they want everything yesterday. And I thought it was called Star Cruiser.
Ours is not the reason why, Carl, my old son. Be here all night if we did.
Painful to watch, isn't it? But that's the thing about pressure. We know we need some of it to work well. And with a little bit more pressure, a lot of us might work even better.
There's a relationship between pressure and performance. It's not about pressure being all bad. Sometimes lack of pressure can be bad as well. And you can imagine plotting a graph where you have pressure against performance. And if there's no pressure at all, no stimulus, then performance is low. We call this state boredom. As pressure increases, we get into an area called the comfort zone. We're happy in what we're doing. We feel we can manage the demands placed upon us, feel very comfortable. If we continue to increase the pressure, we get into an area which we call the stretch zone. Now we're facing challenges. We've got some stimulation, but we're learning as we're going along, and we're actually growing as long as we're managing that pressure effectively. If pressure continues to increase, we move into this area we call the strain area. Now this is where we're no longer managing as effectively as we should be, where our performance is deteriorating and we're starting to feel not in control. If pressure continues to build, we then move into the danger zone, the panic zone, and that's where we're hanging on by our fingertips. We know things are going wrong, we know we're not coping, and we really are in the risk of damaging ourselves physically and psychologically.
I think there's a way of knowing when you've got to the kind of maximum effective pressure point. And from there, you're heading down the slippery slope. And I think you can determine that by looking at your behavior. Your behavior indicates to you that you've reached it.
Irritability is a very common one. Poor concentration is a very common one. Feeling that you just can't cope. You know, you're no longer enjoying what you're doing. It used to be fun, it used to be stimulating, it used to be a challenge. It's gone from that to being a big burden that you no longer feel you can cope with very well.
There's a difference between the word pressure and stress. Pressure is stimulating, motivating, gets you to achieve things. But when pressure exceeds your own individual ability to cope, then you're in the stress arena.
Oh, thanks, Sue. The new Lola Michaels is here.
Oh, wonderful. Richard can read his on the plane, and we'll take it from there.
How pressure affects the way we work is different for everyone. Put two people under the same pressure, and one might react brilliantly, while the other might crack.
What?
What?
It's unreadable.
So what's new?
Didn't anybody check this?
Well,
it's got to be redone.
But it'll never be ready before Richard leaves.
Oh, what a cock-up.
Sorry.
Well, what time's his flight?
Michelle, we've got to convert the disc, clean up the text, get it printed out, copied.
Well, what about a courier? We could get it on a later flight to New York. Richard will have it first thing in the morning. I know he won't be able to read it on the plane, but...
We've got no choice. Okay, get cracking.
An individual's perception of the pressures on him and her are extremely important. Some individuals will see a particular pressure, well, not a pressure, but a particular event in the work environment as a major source of stress and pressure and overload. Somebody else will see the exact same thing as a challenge, as an opportunity. And maybe if I do that, it may be a little bit of work for me, but it could lead to that.
Stress really is all about perception. What stress is, it's when the perceived demands on an individual exceeds that person's perceived ability to cope. It's not whether there's real threats there or whether there's a real problem. It's what I perceive there to be a problem. And it's not how good I am at coping. It's whether I think I can cope or not. That's what matters. It's really all about perception.
Right, I'll get Sue to take those to the printers. Now, put together a complete set of publicity materials and schedules to send off with the manuscript.
That's crazy. Some of it's not even ready yet. No wonder Sarah left. This place is just...
Come on. You put together a set of all the artwork and publicity material we've got so far, and I'll finalise the details of Lola's schedule.
We'll never be ready in time.
Well, maybe not. But unless we try, we'll never get anywhere.
Take two people exposed to the same pressure, but they react differently. In order to understand why they react differently, we have to understand the dynamics of the stress process. We need to recognise that stress is a combination of three elements. It's pressure, the way we perceive the demands placed upon us. It's our personalities, whether we're the sort of person that embraces a challenge and goes for it and gets things done, or the sort of person that sees a challenge as a problem and a threat and just gives up. It also involves our coping skills, whether we've got a good, well-developed range of coping skills or we're not good at coping, we don't think we can do anything about it. So you put those three elements together, pressure and the way we perceive it, personality, whether we actually thrive on pressure or fall apart as a result of it, and coping. And what we have to do is we have to learn to improve our coping skills so that we can manage pressure more effectively. So we produce a positive outcome, not a negative outcome. So we get growth, not stress.
It's Lola Michaels.
I'll take it in my office.
So, depending on how you handle it, pressure can have positive effects. But as we all know, in everyday life it can be hard to match theory with practice, particularly when the pressures are getting worse and worse.
Yes. All right, Lola, I take the point. Look, let me deal with it and I'll get back to you. All right? Okay, thanks. Maggie, I've just talked to Lola on the phone. She hates the cover. She won't go to the book fair to promote it. And the title's wrong. It should be Star Rider.
Problem? You bet there's a problem. Stress isn't good. It's not good for you, not good for the company, not good for anything. Fail to deal with it, and things will build up until one day, just when you're least expecting it, everything will blow.